So let's talk about, first of all, how can we increase this margin? And getting into that 25%, how can we increase that? Let's talk about some strategies. Number one, join a buying group or a banner program. They're out there everywhere. There's all kinds of different programs out there with these that are programs. Now, how do you find them? Okay, you find them by going to talk to your distributor. And if your distributor can't help you with one of those banner programs, go to another one. Because typically, tires used to be sold directly from the manufacturers to the retailer. They're not anymore. They're sold through distributors. And so the distributor will potentially have a whole bunch of different brands that they sell. And they'll have programs in-house that they'll recommend as a banner program or a buying group. They'll have programs that they're affiliated with. Be aware that not all of these programs are the same. Some of them require an incredible investment. You got to buy into the group, and the amount that you'll spend will be a lot of money, but then you'll have a share of that company and you'll share in the total profits of that company. Now, if you're buying in, they're going to want you to brand with them. There's no doubt about it. So if you're ABC Auto right now, you're no longer going to be ABC Auto. You're going to be the brand that they say, and you're going to answer the phone the way they want you to do it. You're going to wear their uniform. All your invoicing is going to be the same. They're probably going to tell you what point of sale system you're even going to run. Mm-hmm. So that's the one program. Some of them require a much less, that they're just a buying group, but they have a brand associated with it, and they might have a monthly fee. They might have a marketing fee that goes with that to help pay for their marketing. There's some of them where you'll get all the benefits of it, but you get no advertising from them, and you can be associated very simply with them. They got all different levels to it. So that's the one side. So focus on becoming part of that. If you do this, you can make up to an additional 10% on buying price. So in that scenario that we said, where you had an $800 sale, and your cost price on that sale, let's say your cost price was $100 and you had an extra 10%, that means you would probably save an extra $10 in buying the tires. So that's number one, join a buying group or a banner program. Number two, focus on the brand that you're selling. And this is a huge one, especially there's a number of retailers out there that are fairly large, and they specialize in marketing one brand. And let's say, for argument's sake, they focus on selling Michelin. It would be crazy if he was just down the street to compete with them on Michelin. You know, that wouldn't be a good strategy. Why not choose a brand that they don't sell? So, for example, let's say they sell Michelin, and you could turn around and sell Continental, and you could sell a premium brand, but not be competing against them. Typically, the three big brands that we talk when we talk the big three are Michelin, Bridgestone, and Goodyear. The big retailers will choose one of those brands to be their main brand, but don't be confused. There's lots of other programs out there that you could be selling. You know, you could be selling lots of other tires, and you could specialize in a tire that wasn't in their wheelhouse. So when the customer calls, you could say, well, we don't sell that brand, but what we do sell is this brand, and this brand is better because, and you can talk about why you like that brand, because you're going to do a better job of selling your product than the guy down the street, and you're going to typically win the sale. But if you're competing straight on price, it's not a good strategy. I also recommend that you look at aligning the tire brand that you sell with the type of business you're selling. For example, let's say you repair German cars. You specialize in BMW, Mercedes, and Audi. Why not think about having a German tire manufacturer? Why not think about having a tire manufacturer like Continental? You've heard me say it twice. I think they're a great brand. I don't think they're that much better than other brands, but comparing that, if you're selling Korean cars, repairing Korean cars like Kia and Hyundai, why not have a tire like Hankook? That's a Korean brand. It just matches up a little bit better. So that's number 2. Focus on the brand that you're selling. Number 3, look at using inventory to your benefit. Now, okay, having said this, I want you to be real careful. When you're talking to the distributors, they will actually come right up to you if you want to talk about inventory, and they'll grab both sides of your face and they'll plant one right on you because you're speaking their language. They love it if you want to talk about inventory because they have the belief, and this is the way it was when I started in this industry, that you couldn't sell tires unless you had them on your shelf. Well, the reality is things have changed. The amount of SKUs, standard stock keeping units, that you need to cover all the tires that are being sold is so much larger than it ever was when I first started in the industry 30 years ago. So you got to be really careful with how you do inventory. Realize that tires have a stale date on them, okay? They have a serial number, and on a serial number, the last 4 digits tell the story. So you can see the first 2 digits have 2910. 29 says it's built in the 29th week of 2010. So this tire has a stale date on it. So if you're going to put tires into inventory, and when they put them into inventory, they'll usually give it to you twice or 3 times a year. They'll give you a chance to buy inventory and get a better buying price on it. Okay, they call it a booking program. You got to be really, really careful that on that booking program that you can return the tires if you don't sell them, because if you get stuck with stale dated tires, you've lost every piece of profit that you've made. You're making a 25% margin and you lose 4 tires. It's pretty hard on the money you make. So be really, really careful that you can return the inventory. Also be careful that when you receive tires, that they aren't stale dated to begin with, that you're not getting tires that are too old and then the tire company says, well, no, you've had these for 4 years. Excuse me, I haven't, I got them this year. A little trick, okay, to be able to tell if you're getting stale dated tires. Say you've received 100 tires, take a closer look at them. Say they're stacked on the floor. Take a closer look at them. An older tire will not be as black as a tire that's brand new, okay? The carbon black, it will go more of a brownish tinge over time, okay? And just have a glance at them. Make sure they all look the same color when you're receiving them. And if one of them looks just maybe a little bit more brown, then just pull it out and have a look at the date. There's nothing to refuse the tire at the point when you're receiving it. That's nothing. They'll take it back without any question at all. But if you're refusing it after you've owned it for 6 months and you're asking to have it taken back, that's the problem. So let's
Alan,
do a.
Alan,
Go ahead, Nate.
This seems like that. Of the playbook so far, it seems like the toughest one to execute. Is that fair?
Yeah. Well, the tire companies will help you with this. They'll say, okay, here's my zip code or my postal code, and they'll say, okay, in that postal code, this is your the number of vehicles you have that are this size, that require this size of tire, and they'll help you with that, and they'll know what their top movers are. Only stock the top 3 or 4 movers, and it's only done so that you can get that extra money. But come the end of the season, you got to clear them out, and you got to be very disciplined on that. Does that make sense?
Yep, that makes sense.
Okay, so let's do a quick little test and see how we've done if we've implemented all 3 of these strategies. So, in our initial discussion, we talked about our tire costing us $100, and we sold it for $133. So to calculate margin, we take our gross profit, which is $33. We divide it by the selling price, which was $133, and we have a 25% margin. So let's start to implement the strategies and see how it would affect. We join a buying program, and we automatically make an additional $10 per tire. Okay, so we brought it down to $90. Number two, we with our distributors, we turn around and we do a booking program, and we ordered 50 or 100 tires of the top movers. And then what they do, the distributor will do, is say, okay, you bought your qualifying order of those tires, therefore we'll extend the discount through all the different lines, okay? Because you've displayed your commitment to the season. So they'll give you an extra discount, and say that extra discount was $2.50 a tire. Number two is your discount. So at this point, we've made $12.50 additional on it. And then I want to talk about a third, and I didn't really talk about this during the going through this, but when you consolidate your effort, I talked about consolidating your effort into Continental, for example. A lot of these programs will have quarterly or monthly rebates based on your purchases and whether you're growing your volume. They'll have minimum qualifiers, but they'll give you a rebate back on that brand for being loyal to that brand. You'll have to sign up for one of these programs, and you'll have to make a strategy on what tires you'll sell. The beauty of it is once you start to make a decision as to what tires you're going to sell, and you're going to have to sell it into the good, better, best. And usually, for example, if we took that Continental would be the best, the midline would be a general, and then they would have an economy line, so you could sell all three there. And all three of those tires would be qualifying in the manufacturer's rebate that they would give either monthly or quarterly. So let's say we implemented all three of these strategies. So instead of making $33 on our tires, we made $47.50, okay? Divided by our same selling price of $135 gives you a 35% margin. Folks, that is unheard of in the tire industry, to be making that much money, but it requires planning, okay? You can't just say, snap your fingers and this program will be there. You have to go out and set it up. You have to start talking to your distributors and making sure that you're signed up on these programs. If your distributor isn't excited about this, go find another distributor, okay? Realize there's lots to look at when you sign up a distributor. You know, what's their delivery times? How often will they deliver? What happens during busy season? Are they going to be giving you great service during busy season? How fast do they want payment? You can oftentimes, with a lot of these places, make 2% for early payment if you pay by the 10th of the month. So there's another way of making money on it.